Hi besties, it's your girl Alaias.Fit here, and in today's video we're going to be diving into how to get in the best shape of your life. And all throughout today's video I'm going to be referencing research that I've done over the years, but also my own personal experience, because if you don't know, when I was a teenager I went on a 70-pound fat loss journey, and that journey allowed me to go to Michigan State where I did Division I track. And a lot of the students that I started to meet would see my Instagram and they would ask me, Alaias, how did you lose the weight? Like, what did you do to become who you are today? And so I already had a packed schedule, but I started training students every Sunday. I would take them grocery shopping. I would show them workouts. And this whole experience allowed me to see beginners who are just starting out in their fitness and health journeys, but also work with top tier athletes, some of who are trying to make it to the Olympics. And what I want to do within this video is package all of the information that I know in a digestible and realistic way, so that whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you know the steps to becoming the very best version of yourself. And I have notes on my phone and we're just gonna dive right into it. So in this video, I broke it up into body, mind, and nutrition. But before we get into those categories, the very first thing that's essential to call out, if we're saying we want to get in the best shape of our lives, we're ultimately saying this is now becoming our priority. And one mistake that I often made in the past is when I would say this is my new goal or my new priority, I wouldn't deprioritize other things in my life. A lot of us are trying to balance work, life, relationships, and with all of that, if we're prioritizing one thing, normally it means we need to deprioritize other things. So as you watch this video, I want you to think about what are some other things that I can either postpone, delegate to other people in my life or at work, so that I can now start prioritizing my health and fitness. And maybe there's some things that you can do on your own, like waking up early or combining your workouts with a close friend that you see every single week. But I wanted that to be the very first thing that we hear, is that we have to ensure, if we're saying we want to become and get in the best shape of our lives, we're going to have to deprioritize other things. The first section we're going to dive into is body. My first tip under body is to move your body daily. And I really don't want us to overthink this. I feel like when it comes to fitness, there's always this fear and this anxiety about starting. And I think the very best thing you can do is start and not to overthink it. Moving your body can be anything from dancing to walking to biking. You can do these things while listening to a podcast or talking to a friend, but really the goal of this is just to get you consistent with moving your body and trying out new ways that you enjoy. And when it comes to this approach too, we have to be extremely flexible with our schedules. I mean, sometimes I'm taking walking meetings and I'll tell them like, hey, I'm going to be outside for this meeting. It's a beautiful day out. 99% of the time, they don't care. Like if I'm not on a meeting where I need my laptop screen or anything like that, it's completely fine. But I think the goal with this is to push past that fear of starting and just to get going. Next, I have strength training and aerobic exercise. Yes, the combination of both. If you are trying to get in the best shape of your life, you are going to see the most optimal results by doing a combination of strength training and aerobic exercise. That combination is up to you. Let me repeat that again. That combination is up to you and up to the goals that you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to lose fat, you still should be strength training and doing aerobic exercises. If you're trying to build muscle, you still should be doing aerobic exercises. Aerobic, by the way, too, means cardio. So anything that's getting your heart rate above a certain threshold, because that's going to allow you to burn fat more. And just because you're trying to put on muscle and you do one cardio workout a week does not mean you're going to lose all your gains. Okay. I promise you. Strength training and cardio are extremely important for many reasons. Strength training is going to build your muscle, which is going to increase your metabolism, which is going to allow you to burn more over time. And also as we age, it's really important to ensure that we have a certain amount of muscle, because the more we age, the less muscle our bodies hold on to. Like it becomes a little bit harder if you're over the age of 40. And then when it comes to cardio exercises. There is so many negative stigmas around cardio. Like, I promise you, cardio can be fun. And I know you might be looking at me right now like, girl, never that. But I promise you, cardio is some of my favorite exercises because you can get into this period of flow where you disconnect from the world around you. Ultimately, cardio is so important for our heart health. Yes, we want to get in the best shape of our life, but we also want to be looking at our health for the long-term benefits to live a healthy lifestyles, not just when we're 20s, but also when we're 50, 60, 70. And I know it's hard to think about that right now, but the more consistent you are with doing cardio exercises, the easier it's going to be in the long run. Because just imagine you start trying to do cardio exercises when your doctor tells you it's too late, or you already have this disease, or you already have something that's awful that's happening. Sorry if you guys can hear this siren. To make a long story short, what I'm ultimately trying to say is our cardio is extremely important for our long-term health. And I know it's so easy to focus in on our 20s and our 30s, but we do have to be thinking about the long term and making sure that we're prioritizing things in our life so that we reduce the risk of getting diseases later on in life. And it's also just going to allow us to feel good. So if you want the optimal results, I highly recommend you have a combination of strength training and cardio every single week. Next is increase your NEAT. Yes, if you don't know what NEAT is, that is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which basically means anything outside of your planned workouts. This could be fidgeting, pacing back and forth, cleaning, doing the dishes. This kind of connects very closely to move your body, but the goal is to get yourself moving and flowing and not being stagnant, sedentary all day. Honestly, the worst thing we could do is sit and stay in one place all day. It's awful for our postures. It's awful. Like if you're trying to lose stomach fat, it's just not a good place to be. You want to be moving almost every single hour throughout the day, which I know seems like a lot, but I promise you, it's a little bit easier than what it seems. You can get up and go to the bathroom or wipe something down. Like all of these things too should be flexible approaches. Like they don't have to be this timed, structured, planned out thing. Like, just set a timer on your phone and every hour just get up and move your body a little bit. Don't overthink it. My next tip is for more intermediate and advanced, and that is to follow a program. I want to show you guys a picture of me when I first started out on my journey to where I am today. And I want to be very clear that these results did not take weeks, they took years. And what I'm very afraid of right now is there's a lot of people who are signing up for programs that are 2 weeks long, 4 weeks long, 6 weeks long, and those programs don't allow you to see optimal results within the given time frame just because of the time it takes for our bodies to change and to develop muscle. So be very cautious if you see anyone preaching about results within such a short period amount of time. There's a couple other key things you should be looking for within your program. One, your program should have the same fundamental compound exercises and they should not be changing every single week. A squat is a squat and the basics of a squat stay the same. You can increase the weight, you can make it more challenging, but you should still be having those compound exercises throughout your entire program and they should not be changing every single week. You should also ensure that your program has unilateral movements, one arm things, one legged things. This is going to allow you to have balance within your body because normally we favor one side over the other. And lastly, your program should contain isolation and accessory movements. Yes, compound exercises are extremely important, but the overall structure of your program is just as important. And if you guys need help getting started, I do have a program called Shred where it is based on muscle gain and fat loss, a combination of both. And so if you guys are interested in that, feel free to check it out. And the last thing I want to call out in terms of body is to be intentional. Quality over quantity every single time. Even if you're trying to get in the best shape of your life, it is going to be more beneficial for you to do 3 incredible workouts than it is to do 5 mediocre ones. And then when you go into your workouts, focus on the movement. Focus on that mind-muscle connection. And what that ultimately means is, say for instance, you're going into a squat, you're thinking about squeezing your glutes, you're thinking about engaging your core, your mind is connected to the movement that you're doing, and you're not off in la la land while you're exercising. You know what I mean? Like, we're not thinking about the Netflix show that we was just watching last night. Point is, when you go into the gym, be very intentional about your time, and you are going to get the most out of it. To get in the best shape of your life, you don't need to be doing 6 workouts a week. You don't need to be doing 5 workouts a week. You can get 3 solid workouts in and still get in the best shape of your life. Next, we're gonna dive into nutrition. If I had to say my number 1 tip when it comes to nutrition is to track what you eat. A lot of us are very unintentional when it comes to our nutrition, not because we don't care, but just because we're busy. And so whether you're trying to put on muscle or lose fat, understanding where you're eating is extremely important, because 9 times out of 10, say we are trying to put on muscle, we don't realize that we're under fueling or not getting enough protein. And say we're trying to lose weight, we don't realize that we're overdoing it in certain areas of our life. And tracking what you eat is going to give you that clarity. Next, I have water. You guys hear about water all the time, but it's so important. Water is going to be that thing that gets you all of the results that you're looking for. It's going to allow you to recover. It's going to allow you to feel more energized. It's going to allow your food to move and digest and do all the things that you need to do. If you don't have water, a lot of your body is just going to be sitting there. Like, think of water as that thing that flushes out your entire system and gets things moving in the way that it needs. It's going to be extremely important if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to put on muscle. So water, baby, water. This next one, y'all aren't gonna like me, but I'm just gonna deliver the truth because that's why I'm here. Supplements. They're not as important as people think. Unless you're a vegan or vegetarian, most of us are able to get the fuel that we need from our food. Now, if you are someone who's a vegan, a vegetarian, you live in a very cold climate where you're not getting enough vitamin D, there are instances where you do need supplements, but I wouldn't let social media determine that for you. I would go to a doctor, have them test your vitals, and allow them to tell you what you need. When I was at Michigan State, I learned that I was vitamin D and iron deficient, and so they started putting me on vitamins, but everything else I was good to go. So just a little reminder that sometimes we don't need all of the stuff that we think we do. We just have to focus on the foods that we're eating. Ooh, my next one, intermittent fasting. I have an entire video about this on my channel, but intermittent fasting is a pattern of eating where you block off the certain times that you eat and the certain times that you're fasting. And I think if you are trying to lose fat, this is so optimal for you because it puts all of your eating in a certain window. And what I've realized when it comes to nutrition is the more logical that I am, the better it's going to be. Recently, I've been on a very structured routine where I wake up, I drink water and tea, I have my first meal at 11 and my next meal at about 4, and they're bigger meals so that I get all of my calories and nutrients in, but that's like it. And it's so amazing, guys, because I've been meal prepping and I've been sticking to that routine. Guys, the results that I'm seeing, like, make your nutrition as structured as possible for you, because I do think mindful eating and being aware of how much food we're eating is very important. But also, the less I think about my food, like sitting there,
what am I gonna eat today? What am I gonna drink today? Like, what time should I eat today?
Like, just take all that out the equation, make a plan, and I promise you it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you so much. Oof, yes, if you're trying to put on muscle, make sure you have protein at every single meal. This is extremely important, guys. Protein is crucial if you're trying to put on muscle. Like, you're not gonna put on muscle if you're not having protein. So an example of this could be for breakfast, maybe you have a protein smoothie, or you could have an omelet, and within your omelet, eggs are gonna be the protein. For lunch, you could have like a chicken salad or a tofu salad, and your chicken or your tofu would be your protein. And then for dinner, you could do like a stuffed sweet potato. Oof, I haven't done that meal in a long time, but that sounds really good. A stuffed sweet potato with like a side of beans or lentils. There's so many incredible ways to get your protein in. So make sure you guys do a little bit of research, okay? And I also post a lot of healthy meals all over my YouTube channel and Instagram and TikTok, of course. Last bucket, we're gonna dive into mindset. Excuse my French, but cut the baby. We gotta cut like the drinking, the smoking, and I'm not gonna say what you need to cut specifically because we all have our demons, but if you're trying to get into the best shape of your life, it's gonna require you to be disciplined, and there's a lot of distractions in this world. I mean, the list of distractions, and they're fun distractions, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying you never have to do these things again, but when we look at extremely successful people, and in this regard, we'll look at athletes because we're talking about getting in the best shape of our lives. On the weekends, they're not going out and drinking every night. They're not going out and partying every night. They're not going out and getting high 24/7. And I know a lot of you may not like this, but this is just the truth that if you're trying to take yourself to the next level, you're going to have to level up in all regards. And I want you to do your own due diligence with it because I don't want to tell you what you should be cutting or what you should be limiting, because every now and then I get drinks with a friend. Every now and then, like, I have a glass of wine at home. Like, I'm not saying you have to be the stick in the mud boring, but I am saying recognize the things that are holding you back and what those things could be. Oh, this next one's kind of deep too. Understand your triggers and plan for them. Use your triggers as an advantage. I just kind of walked you guys through a great example for me. One of my biggest triggers when it comes to nutrition, or like things I struggled with, maybe is a better way of phrasing it, is I would look at the day and then I would just like eat whatever I wanted. I would do whatever I wanted. And I didn't really have a plan. I was very like emotional in my decision making. And the more logical and streamlined I made my nutrition, the better off I was, because I was no longer allowing my food to pick for me. Like, I was picking the food based on the goals that I have. And I think the more that you can understand the things that are holding you back personally, the better you're going to be able to make a plan to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. Another thing I want to throw in, you're planning not for the best version of you, but you're planning for the weak version of you. When you're tired, when you're hungry, that's normally when we do the things that we're not striving to do. And so be very meticulous in your planning and know that I'm not planning because Alaias is going to wake up and be all energized and like ready to go, ready to eat her food. I'm planning for the day Alaias wakes up and she's like, I don't want to get up. We got to plan for those days because they're going to happen. Next, take your focus off the goal and onto the process. This one gets me hyped because I just read an entire book about this. And ultimately what this is talking about is flow. And flow is this state that we get in when we're doing something and we're entirely immersed in that process. And hear me, besties, because you can get in a state of flow with your workout and nutrition. We love in America that like underdog story. We love to see that person who was like at the bottom make it to the top, right? And it's good. It feels good. We're seeing them work hard and they get the things that they need. But why can we not also believe and manifest that things are just going to flow to us? That we can just be in this state of ease, that things don't have to be a struggle for us, especially in terms with our fitness and health. There is this stigma around it that I'm starting a fitness journey, it's going to be hard. I'm starting a fat loss journey, it's going to be hard. Bestie, that's not what I'm taking into this year, and I hope you don't take it into this year either, because I'm manifesting and I'm saying that if I want to lose some fat, that fat is going to fly off me. If I want to put on some muscle, I'm going to build some muscle so strong, like y'all going to be walking around like, who is this girl? Because I'm going to be hype about it. And the best way to get into a flow, and if you know you're in a flow, is when you are enjoying the process, right? When you are loving what you're doing, that you're not thinking about all of the other things that you need to do in that day. And this is where you understanding you is going to be so important. You have to understand the workouts that you love, and you also have to stick to it for a consistent amount of time to see if you like it. If you've never like jogged before, of course, maybe your first 2 or 3 times, you're gonna be like, this is weird, but give it a week. Give it 10 days. See how you feel after some time. And when you're enjoying what you're doing, whether it's a workout, whether it's enjoying the foods that you're eating, you are going to stick with it. And you're going to get in this state of flow that's going to allow this to be seamless for you. The only way I was able to lose 70 pounds is because I stopped focusing on losing 70 pounds. I started focusing on becoming the very best athlete, which actually ties into my next tip, which is to have an athlete mentality. We have to level up the way we think about ourselves and the way we view ourselves. And what I love to do is looking at extremely successful people, and I break down what is their mindset and their process. And let's be like very practical here. Let's think about Simone Biles, okay? And let's think about, I'll use myself an example as before I started my fitness journey. If I was sitting there and I needed to start a workout routine or I needed to start eating healthy and I didn't know what to do, versus sitting there and kind of like being in like a pile of self-pity, I would say like, how would Simone Biles look at this situation? Like, would she look at her workout in the morning and say, like, I'm just really scared about what people are going to think of me. And I don't really know if I belong in the gym. And I don't really know, like, so many people are just going to be looking at me and perceiving me weird. Like, I just can't go into the gym. Like, no. Okay. What is Simone Biles thinking? Simone is like, oh, I'm about to mess this up. I'm about to go into the gym today. This is the routine I'm going to be doing. I'm going to wear this cute little leotard. Like, she's not thinking about what other people are thinking of her. She's thinking about what she's trying to get out of that gym moment, okay? And so thinking like an athlete is ultimately just breaking down your mindset and your thought process and thinking about how would someone who's successful in this state already look at this situation. It takes you out of your mind. We got to get out of our heads because there's a better place to be, and that better place is thinking about who can I become and what is stopping me from getting there. It's me. Level up that mindset. Think like an athlete, baby. Lastly, tell as many people possible about your goal. There's psychological reasoning behind this because when you tell your goal to someone that you admire and that you care about, or you post it on social media and there's people watching you, you are 90% more likely to achieve that goal. Did you hear me? 90% more likely to achieve that goal just by telling someone you respect. Why? Because it's no longer about you. It's about making sure you show up to impress them. Tell someone you love, tell someone you look up to, and it's going to help you get to where you need to be. Just because you're no longer thinking about you, you're thinking about them, and you're thinking about making sure you hit that goal because now you have an accountability partner just naturally. Okay, and the very last thing I want to say is you guys got this. You can do this. In your fitness, let's be practical here, okay? When you go to brush your teeth and in the evening and your teeth are all funky, are you sitting there like,
well, I brushed my teeth this morning. I don't know why my teeth are bad.
no, you know you need to brush your teeth again, okay? And just like how hopefully right now you're encouraged, you're motivated, you're like, I got this. I really hope that's how you're feeling right now because that was the whole goal of this video. Just like how you have to brush your teeth consistently, you have to continue listening and pouring into yourself consistently so that you stay on top of achieving this goal. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, you can't brush your teeth once and think your teeth are going to be clean for the rest of the year. Okay. You have to brush your teeth 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day to make sure your teeth are clean and so that you don't have bad breath. And the same thing goes for pouring into ourselves when we're trying to achieve our goal. If you're trying to get into the very best shape of your life and you feel motivated right now, you feel encouraged, you need to come back and listen to this video again because there are going to be days where you're like, you know what?
I don't want to become the best version of me. I don't want to get in the best shape. I don't care.
But instead of just living in that, play something, listen to something that's going to motivate you and that's going to remind you of your goals. Okay? Let me know in the comments what you guys are striving for because I just want to help and support and encourage you in any way possible. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You got this. You're going to become the very best version of you. You're going to get in the best shape of your life. Take a couple of the tips that I shared within this video and apply it. You don't have to do everything at once. Take 2 to 3 things from this video and start actioning it out. I love you and I'll see you soon.